So a few months ago, I cheated on the MrBeast Finger on the App challenge and I lost. So how did I get $1,500? Okay, hit that sub button and we'll get straight into it. So for those of you who don't know, the Finger on the App challenge was a challenge where you had to keep your finger on the app for the longest amount of time possible, and the winner got $100,000. Except every now and then there would be a prompt on the app telling you to move your finger to a location to make sure you're still active on the app. And that's where my 3D printer came in. So I cheated by having my stylus attached to my 3D printer to go around on the app hitting all the markers to let the app know that the 3D printer was still live and I'm still in the challenge. I basically used my 3D printer as a robot to mimic the behaviors of a real person using the app. I actually tried to cheat in his first challenge with my 3D printer, except the problem is my stylus broke in the first 10 minutes because I was just using it so much, and it was a cheap stylus too. So for the newer challenge, I got a much nicer stylus to make sure I could last in the challenge. I bought this stylus pretty early because originally MrBeast announced that the challenge was going to start, I think in like December or February. He kept postponing it because there were problems with the app, but I just bought this early to make sure I was ready for when it did happen. But I was a little nervous because he did announce one time that it was going to be in December during a time which I wouldn't have my 3D printer, so I'm glad he postponed it to a time that worked better for me so I could cheat. In March, MrBeast did announce that the challenge was finally happening and wasn't going to be postponed, so then a week prior, I started to prepare myself. I duct taped the stylus to the 3D printer to make sure that the stylus wasn't going anywhere, and then I started to experiment with different paths on the 3D printer, and I started programming the printer movements. I heard rumors that the app was going to be able to track whether something was moving in a straight line, so I made sure that in my pattern it would curve every now and then. Once I had a pattern that could hit every mark within 5 seconds and seemed somewhat random and switched up every now and then, I took that pattern and I made sure that that pattern would be able to run on my 3D printer for a week to make sure that my printer would at least be able to last a week without me. So the day before the challenge, I made sure my live stream was working correctly, and I tested the 3D printer cheat system in battle mode on the practice version of the app before the challenge actually started, so I'd be prepared for when it did start. I also made sure to clear my schedule because this was in the middle of a school semester, but my only priority during that weekend was Finger on the App challenge, so I made sure to finish as much homework before the challenge, and then I was also behind on homework after the challenge, but it was definitely worth it. So the day of the challenge, I bought 3 extra lives to make sure that if anything happened, I would still be in the challenge. And once the challenge started, it was off to a great start. It was very successful for the first few hours. Unfortunately, during the challenge, we had a little bit of human error, but it was alright. We only lost 1 life, and we were still going fine. Around the 7-hour mark, my live stream on YouTube and TikTok started to overflow with people, and people were just spamming on Twitter to try to get me out because they were annoyed that I was cheating in this $100,000 challenge. So everyone was just spamming on Twitter with the link to my live streaming videos to try to get MrBeast to kick me from the game. At around 7 hours, MrBeast deployed bombs onto the app to get rid of any bots, but I had a plan for that. So when I got bombs on my phone, I turned off my 3D printer and then I controlled it manually to avoid all the bombs. And this actually worked surprisingly well until I was just kicked from the game. Originally I thought it was a glitch because I heard other people got out due to a glitch, but later I found out on Twitter that it was confirmed that I was kicked from the game. Anyways, you're probably wondering how I made so much money from this challenge. So about every 30 minutes to an hour, I would post a new video on TikTok with an update of what I was up to, because I knew that this was such a viral topic, because last time I cheated on this challenge, it went viral super easily. So I made sure to constantly be posting and constantly be giving updates. And then I also live streamed this challenge on TikTok and YouTube to just get as much exposure as possible. Also, people were spamming on Twitter with links to my videos trying to get me out, which only gave me more exposure and got me more video views. So at the time, I was not monetizing on YouTube because my channel was too small. It did grow my channel quite a bit, but I was in the TikTok Creator Fund. And because I was posting every 30 minutes to an hour and all my videos went viral, So at the end of the challenge, I got about 40 million video views from TikTok total, which adds up to around $1,500 that I made from TikTok views. So I cheated, I got out, but I got so much exposure that I still got lots of money. And if you're wondering what I'm doing with that money now, I'm actually using it as my marketing budget for a new app I just released. Please download. For the next challenge, depending on when it's happening, I could have more 3D printers, I could have a better system in place to cheat, and hopefully I'll be able to monetize on YouTube as well as TikTok. Also hopefully get my app off the ground as well because of all the media attention I can get from that 24 hours. Anyways, that's about it. Make sure to subscribe because I'm going to start posting every week.